Sophia Kende left home on Friday evening, promising her elder sister Muina Tokewo to return home early as possible. However, her family started getting worried when it was around 9 p.m. as Sophia failed to return home as early as she promised, and she was known never to have slept outside the home before that day. Things started getting more tense when her number stopped going through around 10 p.m., leaving everyone in a confused state of mind. The following morning, Muina went to report her missing sister at the police station, where she learned her sister had been brutally murdered by her ex-boyfriend. It happened that Sophia once dated this guy called Mustakim in September 2021, but they broke up when Sophia's family was not in support of the relationship. Mustakim met this new guy, Soliu Majekodum, in December 2021, and they become friends. Mustakim asked Soliu if he would be interested in having a relationship with Sophia, to which he agreed. He got her phone number, called her and asked her out, to which she accepted. The duo started a romantic relationship, which didn't last for 2 months, and also led to the tragic death of Sophia. When Mustakim handed over Sophia to Soliu, he made it known that Sophia was not a decent girl. He claimed she loved sleeping around, even though she was a calm girl who would be fit to be used for a ritual. Mustakim, who had learned about money ritual on the internet, showed his friend Soliu some pictures of different served heads which he had gotten from Facebook. He kept pestering Soliu about using Sophia for money rituals, which Soliu initially had no interest in. However, Soliu later gave into Mustakim's continued pestering and agreed to use Sophia for money ritual. The two agreed on a date and meticulously planned how the operation would be carried out. On the Friday which Mustakim and Soliu had planned to commence their ritual, Soliu invited Sophia over to his place. Sophia reached Soliu's place a few minutes after 8 p.m. and as their usual practice, they had a round of sexual intercourse. After the sex, Soliu went out to meet Mustakim, who, according to their plans, was standing outside of Soliu's room waiting to get calling. After Soliu notified Mustakim, he entered and exchanged pleasantries with his ex-girlfriend, Sophia, and went outside with Soliu. Mustakim asked his friend Soliu to find a way of pinning Sophia down by sitting on her and holding her hands so that she wouldn't be able to resist while he cut off her head. Soliu, who was new to this kind of practice, first became assistant. He entered back into the room to meet Sophia and went back to meet Mustakim outside. Mustakim, noticing his friend's nervousness, urged him to be bold and assured him nothing would happen. Mustakim held a pillow which he found in Soliu's room and hid a knife in it. Soliu, on the other hand, bent over Sophia and started caressing her while kissing her, which he didn't know would be her last kiss. As Soliu was kissing her, he held her two hands tightly, signifying to Mustakim that it was time to carry on with his own part. Mustakim grabbed Sophia's neck and started cutting it. Sophia immediately cried for help. She struggled with her murderers before giving up the ghost. She tried to get up and run for her life, but was no match for the two guys determined to use her head for a ritual. Mustakim continued cutting the neck until he finally served the head. He put the head into a clay pot together with other ingredients which he had bought earlier before that Friday for 2,500 naira. He wrapped the clay pot containing the head and other ingredients for the ritual with a cloth and left with Soliu to another guy, Gafar, who was Mustakim's friend, to burn the head together with ingredients. This was around 9 o'clock the same night. Mustakim introduced Soliu to Gafar and told him it was Sophia's head that was in the pot. Gafar, who was not new to the business, affirmed to Mustakim that there was no cause for alarm. After the three boys prepared a fire and put the pot on the fire, Soliu and Mustakim left the place and asked Gafar and his brother to watch over the pot for them. However, no one knew the content of the pot except Gafar. Mustakim and Soliu returned back to Soliu's room to take care of Sophia's remains. They put the remains in a sack and tied it while Mustakim stayed inside to clean the room. While Mustakim and Soliu were busy cleaning their trash and Gafar and his brother were watching the pot containing Sophia's head, a distress call was sent to the vigilantes by some residents living close to Soliu's house. They claimed to have heard some strange sounds coming from Soliu's house and immediately reached out to the community security when they couldn't gain access into the building. As the cleanup was going on, unbeknown to him, Soliu decided to visit the toilet to relieve himself. However, as he got outside, he noticed the presence of some individuals behind the building. He got frightened and went to the front of the house and also discovered that there were many people standing there murmuring. He realized their secret was likely out and ran inside to inform his partner, Mustakim, about the trouble with them. Sensing the incoming danger, Mustakim quickly locked the door to Soliu's room and they both took the side door to escape. Unfortunately for them, the people who were already gathered around the house sighted them and gave them a horse chase, shouting "thief" at the two. Soliu was able to escape while Mustakim got caught at the crime scene. Mustakim was forced to open the door to Soliu's room. As he opened the door, people found Sophia's remains in a tight sack and made Mustakim to untie it. When he untied it, they saw there was no head on the body and ordered him to take them to where they kept the head. Soliu Majekodum managed to escape to a family house at Idiaru, where he was caught and arrested the following day. Soliu took the people to where they were burning Sophia's head, which was almost half cooked as the face had been completely burnt, while some other parts of the skull had darkened. When the community heard the news of the girl murder for ritual, they turned the place and almost set the suspect on fire. It was the vigilante team that stopped them and prevented them from carrying out jungle justice on them. The police were called and the suspects were handed over to them. Another suspect, Waris Oladende, was also arrested there. Waris was just a 17-year-old boy who went to learn how to become a native doctor from Gafar's father. He was in the toilet when the crowd Gafar came and apprehended him, even though he knew nothing about the content of the pot. He, together with Gafar, was left to watch over. During interrogation, Mustakim told the police how they took her phone, removed the SIM card, and threw the phone away. He took the police to where the phone was thrown and also confessed where they had kept a slice of Sofia's flesh. Let me know your opinion below about this story. If you have heard this story before, let me know in the comment section.